I am like extremely jealous of people who have the ability that they can just recognize where they are in the span of time. Like I hear about how short a time period that you know we really live in the grand scheme of the universe and everything, but when you shrink things down and you look at just society in itself, America has been here for about like 300, 400 years, and we've gone through a lot of changes as society, economically, you know, societally, you know, all these different things where people interact and the whole, you know, how everybody is changes. And some people they recognize this and they take advantage of it. You can see, especially in the early phases of America, people got rich just by simply recognizing like who they can exploit and take advantage of. It's not right, but how that looked in the past, it's similar to how things are right now. We think about how there's an imbalance and there's an inequality between, you know, certain groups of people, and how people who are continuously making money and getting richer and richer take advantage of people who are getting poorer and poorer. And I don't think that's a good thing at all. Of course, I don't think that's right. But even in the middle of all of that, because that's where I am, I'm not poor, I'm not rich, I'm in the middle. I gotta think about like, what can I do so I can make enough money to be comfortable and help other people, because I don't think it's right that people exploit the poor and people take advantage of certain groups just to make money. I don't think it's right, but in the end, they recognize that these people they don't know. Some people they don't know what they need, and they have them. They just decide for them. You know what I'm saying? So of course it's not a good thing. Of course it's not right, but there's good in that. You know what I'm saying? Those are people I'm jealous of. I'm sure if I was able to recognize a wave and build off of that and get in there quick and do whatever I gotta do, help myself out and eventually get to a point where I can help others, then I will do that. But it's sad how that power, and most of the time it goes to people who are gonna do wrong and shift towards more the negative side of everything. So yeah, definitely jealous of those people, man. Just looking across the past like 20 years, the shift in the internet, computers, .com era, that was crazy. But now we moving into something different. There's a lot of speculation with AI, and you can see how that's similar to certain other waves that like let's talk about AI and money, for example. People are making content that are created with AI. People are using AI in their businesses, using AI to go and do marketing and everything like that. And I think that is a crazy, like, to me it's like just mind-boggling. But if you really get in there, do the research, and figure everything out, then you understand it and it's not as complex. But if you don't know, you don't know. And a lot of people are scared of AI. They don't have a good understanding, but they're still scared of it because of you know what it's doing to the environment. But you gotta think, like, 30, 40, 50 years ago, 80 years ago, when oil first getting made, what do you think oil has done to the world in like the last like 100 years, bro? It's crazy. And sure, AI is evolving rapidly, but if you think about oil just in itself, forget the water. Like, what have we done to the planet, bro? Like, that's what I'm trying to say. It's kind of crazy that people, they're scared of AI, but they don't understand it. And if you look at how helpful that stuff has been, it's really coming to the forefront, but it's been here for such a long time. And it's crazy. I feel like this is really spontaneous, and I'm about like everywhere when it comes to talking about this, but I really think that this is a complex topic, and getting back to my initial thought of, being able to recognize where we are in time and, capitalize on that and see, you know, how, you can get the best bang for your buck and where you are in your time, then it's a beautiful thing. I definitely don't think that's something that people are born with. I think it's something that's learned. So I'm jealous of people who are really good at it. But to me, I still think that, you know, I can build off of what I know and the skills that I have so I can get to that point, and recognize stuff. Like investors, they are really good at that. But you think an investor just comes out the womb and is like, I'm about to buy this stock, this stock, this stock, and I'm about to be rich. That doesn't happen. So all I'm trying to say, this stuff is learned. If you're as ambitious about it as I am, then you can definitely make some progress and you can definitely change your life around. And being able to see this is going on right now. What's next? And not jumping into things so eagerly, because a lot of the times stuff like this, it gets popular, dies off. I forget the type of graph, but there's a graph in business where it's like when something initially comes out, it comes out as hype, but then that's just off of speculation. They buy into it over time. The hype is down, and it's not giving the results that we thought it would be. Like flying cars, all this stuff. It's not what it is. So the hype goes back down, and it gets lower than what it was initially. Gradually, it'll get back up and increase its value again. I forget what it's called, but if you really look at that in the grand scheme of things, then pick and choose. Because let's say you get into something and that exact wave happens, you get in, you lose, then you go right back to square one, or even like zero, to be honest, because sometimes the stuff goes down. So you gotta be able to understand and not be too eager. You don't know what you don't know, and for you to really build off of things and get this knowledge and see where the next step is, you have to have a good understanding of things, and you can't just jump in right away because it's naive. Like people, it's happening with crypto, man. Even though that's like his own thing in itself, that was his own wave too. But people jumped in, they lost a lot of money, and who's to blame? So yeah, all I gotta say, man, is just you don't know what you don't know. I'm gonna say it again. You don't know what you don't know. Build the knowledge, get the skills, understand what you're getting into, and then from there, recognize where you are. See what could happen next, because we see that history wears a different face. See what's similar, what's different, how this happened, how it changed, and learn from the past to prepare yourself for the future. The past doesn't really matter, but it does in a sense where you have to learn and apply what happened before right now so you can put your best foot forward and be in a better spot. You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say. Yeah, recognize the wave. Recognize the wave. Recognize the wave. Recognize the wave. Y'all stay blessed. Keep praying. Put God first. And that being said, peace.